You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
And welcome back. Here's a look at some more of the political headlines of the past week. Didn't get a chance to talk about this on last week's show, but President Trump came out with a complete and total endorsement of Lubbock Congressman Jody Arrington this election cycle, saying Arrington supports securing our border with the wall, loves our military and vets, and is strong on the Second Amendment. And the congressman sent some love back to the White House.
I was honored to have the president's endorsement. He's a fighter. He's a person who's proven that politicians can actually go to Washington after being elected and do what they said they would do. That was always my intent from day one, is just do your job, deliver on your promises, and deliver results for the people you represent.
Congressman Arrington faces a primary challenger from Republican Bryan Mudd, who we'll hear from in just a moment. And President Trump's granted clemency to a Lubbock woman. Tynice Nicole Hall was convicted and sentenced in 2006 for allowing her Lubbock apartment to be used to distribute drugs. The investigation shows Hall's boyfriend at the time stored cocaine and guns in her home, but in prison, the White House says that Ms. Hall took college classes, job training programs, and taught prison educational programs to other inmates. You know, there's nothing wrong with calling out your elected officials for more transparency in what they do, but you can't fault Lubbock City leadership here for getting the word out and asking for input on a new unified development code. This will affect how land is used and businesses set up in future years. Councilman Juan Chidas and Councilwoman Sheila Patterson-Harris hosted a packed town hall to talk about this, and KMAC's Matthew Stell was there.
This code and this consultant is coming in to really give us the rules that are going to give us the results that the community wants.
And that's what Tuesday night's town hall was about, specifically how the Unified Development Code, better known as the UDC, affects those in North and East Lubbock.
What kind of developments are they interested in? Rules and regs, zoning information. How better to do, because this document hasn't been visited in probably 50 years.
Officials say the UDC will modernize zoning regulations, design standards, and how vacant or existing land is developed.
A lot of larger municipalities do have a unified development code. It simplifies things. It brings everything into one area where you can look at.
But some residents say the UDC is well overdue, as current regulations stem from a complicated history.
A lot of these decisions were rooted in Jim Crow segregation. Most of the industrial zoning is on the east and the north side.
Matthew Stell, KMAC News.
All right, thank you, Matthew, so much. Let's spend 5 good minutes with Vance Boyd, who's the Republican candidate for the House of Representatives here in the 19th District. Thanks for coming into town, saying hi to us.
Well, thanks for asking me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Sure. Yeah, let's talk about your background here, but let's face it, we do not often have people who in their resume have professional stuntman and rodeo star in there. Tell us about you a little bit.
Well, I rode Bulls Pro for about 18 years, and that sort of led into the stunt business, which led into the acting stuff, and kind of, you know, had pretty good success at it. And like everybody else, I see what's going on politically, and thought it was time to get involved. I have 3 sons. One's at Angelo State, and my twins graduate this year.
Oh, wow.
So might have a little more free time
maybe
when they swear me in next year.
Right. But you have some political experience too in your hometown of Anson.
Yes, right? I was mayor there, and it was a great experience. I really was eye-opening to see. Well, you know, a small town mayor, you get immediate feedback from your constituents, and they get immediate results when they come to you, and that's why I really love it. And I think the federal government could learn a big lesson just from a small town government.
Just from that sort of style and everything else, just letting everybody be a part of the process, right. I guess, here. So was that what got you into this race now, or was there a specific spark that said, you know, this is the time I've got to do this? What was it?
Well, one thing, where I live in Anson, you know, we're on a ranch. We're about 5 miles outside of town, and the rural health care has reached critical mass right now, and it's to a point now where people are actually concerned for their well-being. If you're in the northern part of Castro County or Haskell County and you have an episode of some sort, and getting in your car and driving 2 hours is asking a lot. And the way the rural health care is financed and the reimbursements are roughly 30 to 35% less than urban hospitals, it's created a scenario where these small town hospitals are barely hanging on. The ones that are have had to institute a tax just to stay afloat.
Just the tax district sort of thing.
Tax district.
Yeah.
And I think treatments, whether they're at a rural hospital at MD Anderson in Houston, I think a CAT scan should be worth what it's worth regardless. To say otherwise, when it's based on the incomes in the area, is really just patently unfair. And I can't believe it's been that way for 3 decades and nobody's done anything about it.
A lot of folks have been not happy on the Republican side watching the folks in Washington dealing with the current budget situation and the deficits that we're riding in right now, and the trillions of dollars. Is there a fix for that? How do we get around some of that and start bringing that back more toward even?
Just get a handle on spending. These across-the-board annual increases should have merit. I mean, just to say a 3 to 5% increase in a budget regardless is not how the real world works. I know at my house, we see how much money we have and then we do a budget. Government seems to do a budget and then go get the money. And unfortunately, whether it's at a small town city council or state, federal government, good people get elected and their first priority seems to be to get along with everybody in the room instead of doing what's right and standing up for the people that sent them there. And I think the People's House, as designed by our founders, is the purest form of that, or it was. People chosen from among the people to act in the people's best interest. And it seems like it has kind of transformed into an exclusive club that is there to manage and hand down edicts to the people that should be in charge.
There is a ledger, though, for your opponent here. New farm bill has been signed. Looks good on paper, of course, for him. Some aid for farmers on the books to try to get past some of the losses on the China trade situation. Dyess Air Force Base is set to be still a major bomber base for years to come with the B-21 in. The endorsement of the president we've talked about. Those are big political hurdles for you to overcome here. What is it that will get you over the top in that, do you feel?
Just meeting with people. I've been to all the rural counties, and I'm doing it the old way. I'm going to barbershops, cafes, and feed stores. If I see a group of guys at a table, I'll pull up a chair and we'll talk for an hour. And I've loved it. It's been great. It's not really what politicians do anymore. I see these ads, and I'm almost embarrassed. They'll get a politician and put some mom jeans on him and stand him in a cotton field, or put him on a horse and you can tell he's scared to death. And you know, it kind of insults the voters, I think. So, and I've got such positive feedback. I put on my social media back in November that I was having a petition signing to see if there was enough interest to get me on the ballot to do it. And people were driving a couple hours just to come sign my petition.
Goodness. Which
I saw that as a pretty good indicator that there was some interest there, and I've got such positive feedback. And my goal at this point in my life is to prove to myself and the country that you don't have to be a bored billionaire or a well-financed career politician to be a legitimate candidate with a legitimate shot of winning, and I think we have that.
All right, and he is Vance Boyd, Republican candidate here in the primaries coming up for the 19th district here in Texas. Good luck to you.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you letting me speak to you.
Good to see you.